Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I still can't hear anything. Hare Krishna.
Good afternoon, everyone. Live from Silicon Valley, California. This is Spiritual Fitness with your host, Vaisheshika Prabhu. Good afternoon, Vaisheshika Prabhu. How are you doing today?
I'm much better now that I saw you and that we're starting this broadcast. I'm happy to be here. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So yeah, we are trying to coordinate and get Ilan gesture on. So it may take a minute or two, but meanwhile, you can just provide an overview.
Sure. Yeah, he just called. He's been having connectivity issues, but he's just getting on as we speak, I think.
Yes.
Welcome, everybody. Good to be back with you, everyone who's tuned in from Zoom and also Facebook. I'm really excited for today's program. That is, if we can make all the technology work. And I can introduce you to Ilan Chester, otherwise known as Javi Das. And today we're going to be talking more about the effects of sound vibration. But first, I wanted to mention a couple of points that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and how when we're in lockdown, we have an opportunity to really observe ourselves. And one of the observations that we can make is what kind of habits we've developed over time. It's kind of a laboratory situation where we get to examine ourselves. And it's a known fact that we are creatures of habit, and the habits that we develop will definitely affect the directions we're going in life. And so, one of the great experiments we can perform on ourselves during this time, when we have the opportunity to really look and see how we're working and acting. Of course, we can do that anytime, but it seems like a time for introspection and self-observation right now, don't you think? And looking at how we can develop new habits. So one of the habits in the list of what we call VLCs, or voluntary life changes, is just tweaking the sound vibration that we keep around us. And there's a choice nowadays from so many different directions and so many different levels. In other words, as I've said before, there's high sound and there's low sound. And if we listen to low sound, it's the sound that appeals to the our lower self. And when I say that, I talk about how we have our field, or the material frame, and the mind, which is like the hardware and software, and then we're the operator behind the machine. And to reach our highest spiritual consciousness, say the ancient Vedas, the Shastras that teach about yoga and meditation, we can listen to higher sound vibrations. And if we choose those over the lower sound vibrations that resonate with the chatter that goes on in the lower part of our mind and simply goes around and around without much effect, and that keeps us in a kind of anxiety mode. Whereas when we listen to deliberately and surround ourselves by higher sound vibrations, we get this effect where we are resonating with our spiritual self. And when we do that, we'll naturally feel some kind of perspective that we didn't before. In other words, we're able to deal with all kinds of situations in a more cool-headed way, because we have this higher perspective that I'm not the field, I'm not my life situation, I'm actually the one observing it. That comes by the power of transcendental sound, or spiritual sound. And so we've experimented and in spiritual fitness classes here many times with japa, or chanting mantra ourselves. And that's a kind of a personal meditation through transcendental sound. And then there's another level of introducing this high sound, spiritual sound, which is called kirtan, and which today we've introduced through the flyer as musical mantra. So one of the benefits of this is that we're already predisposed towards music. As living beings, we like it. Even animals like music and respond to it. And rhythm also is something that we don't have to explain. Just like good food, you don't have to explain. You eat it and you feel naturally satisfied. Similarly, music and rhythm. These are the universal language. And even in the science of music, there are theories about the ways in which different kinds of music either open our heart, close it, they evoke various emotions. There are major and minor chords. Some are lighter than others. And there's also, in Indian music, there's the raga, which is a science of evoking various emotions through music. And fortunately, we now see my good friend, Ilan Chester. I'll just give a short introduction because I see him on the screen here now. He's an internationally renowned musician, has produced many, many records, and is the recipient of a Grammy, a Latin Grammy Award, and also a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammy organization, if I'm not incorrect. And we've traveled together in many countries around the world doing this musical mantra meditation. And I thought it would be a good idea today to open our hearts with his music, and we'll do some mantra. So now his nickname is just as mine is Vaish. We call him Javi. So you'll find him online as Ilan Chester. But Javi, good to see you. Uh-oh, you're muted. Can somebody unmute him, please? There, now I think I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Welcome. Welcome to Spiritual
Thank you very
Fitness.
much.
And we have people on from various corporate environments, although they're all working at home. And lots of people on Zoom here today, and also on Facebook, where it's broadcasted, both broadcasting live.
Thank you very much. I had some technical difficulty. I couldn't get exactly at the time we agreed, but here I am, and I'm happy to be here. I'd like to say hello to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for inviting me, Vaisheshika. This song, I'll sing it in Spanish if you don't mind. It's called Así No Más, which means just like that. Así No Más means it's a song related. Actually, I composed it when I was coming from the studio to the house at 4 or 5 in the morning many years ago, and it was so much. It was difficult to work all night and then go and drive home. But then I started to compose within my mind this song, and I could just get home totally happy. So this is the song, Así No Más. So the sun is coming up here, huh? La mañana se asoma en el horizonte, burlando la noche, trayendo la luz, trayendo la luz. Contento por la sabana, me voy por el lado norte. Seguro que anoche la vaca dio a luz. La vaca dio a luz. No me digas que hay algo mejor que vivir con la luna y el sol. Así no más. Todo verde a tu alrededor y la la siembra será una amiga más, una amiga más. La 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 no no le no le la 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 no no le no le la 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 no le. Escúchame bien, amada, que me voy por los algodones. El tiempo está bueno y el cielo es azul. Oh, el cielo es azul. No me digas que hay algo mejor que vivir con la luna y el sol. Así nomás, todo verde a tu alrededor, y la lluvia en la siembra será una amiga más, una amiga más. La ley la 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 la
Arriba. Thank you, Javi. Can you, that's such a moving song, even though I don't understand all the words. Can you tell us why it's so moving, why we get uplifted by hearing something like that?
Well, I guess that there is a space between darkness and light, and I capture that moment because at that moment when I was coming home from the studio,
Oh, come on.
it was a dark place. It was a dark moment in the sense that, well, I was working all night. I was completely tired and so on. And suddenly just the words just came. El sol de la mañana se asoma en el horizonte. The sun is coming in the horizon, burlando la noche, making fun of the night, trayendo la luz, bringing light. Hey, oh, trayendo la luz. So it was revealing to me how just a ray of light can dissipate darkness, and we can see much clearer. Basically, that's it.
That's so beautiful because in the teachings of Bhakti Yoga, one of the main verses given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was teaching this science of bhakti, is that when you bring light through the transcendental sound, then all the darkness in your consciousness disappears. And it's a simple thing. And that's the idea behind it is that there is light available. And one of the other points is that his consciousness gets transmitted through the sound. And if somebody is experiencing joy and higher consciousness and they put it into sound, it comes out in that way. And if there's lower motivations, that comes out in the sound also. And that, when we hear it, tends to bring our consciousness to a lower level as well. So Oh, very beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank
for
you.
doing that. Well, let's just talk for a few minutes about sound vibration, and then we'll have you do some more if you don't mind.
Yes,
Now
thank
we
you
have
very
you here.
much.
We want to make sure we take advantage. First of all, before we go on, does anybody want to come off mute and just say hello or ask Javi any question or anything like that? Be good to hear your voices. Actually, I'm not even sure if they can come off mute. Um,
So
there you go. Please go ahead. Is it Murnaz? I think someone just said
I'm
hello.
having a difficult.
Oh. Yeah, I believe you're having difficulty getting on. Okay. If anybody else wants to try also, let's see if you can break through.
The song was beautiful. Thank you.
Ah, thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
Great, great. Okay. Anybody else want to say hello? Just hearing your voices, you know, this connection that we all have here on this call is really important.
Yes. Hello, and thank you, Javi. It was a really nice sound. It was really well written. We really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Claire, all the way from Ireland, and I love the song. The passion in your voice, you can feel it all the way over here. So thank you.
Thank you.
I like what Claire just said. Thank you, Claire, because you know, when you said all the way over here, so one of the points that is made in the Bhakti literatures about this kind of yoga, the yoga of sound and musical mantra, is that sound, as I said, carries consciousness, and there's a way in which you can hear it from long distances away. It can be transported. So the mantra, as we've practiced it before on this call, is a sound vibration that comes from a higher stratum, from a spiritual stratum. And when we come in contact with that particular sound vibration, it opens up the consciousness and it connects us to that higher realm just through sound. We know that intuitively with music because we just feel it. And when you add the mantra into it, this is what 500 years ago, the monk who wandered alone, maybe sometimes with one assistant, barefoot throughout India, he was teaching this kirtan or bhakti yoga or musical mantra to sing, get together in the villages and sing together and include the mantra, because this will become a spiritually uplifting practice. So this is the practice. So I like that. From Ireland, Claire is being touched by the mantra from far away. Nice, thank you. Anybody else want to check in? So, yes.
Hi.
Hi, thank you. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you for the mantra.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us today. So, resonation, this is an important point, and we've talked about acoustic resonance. The sound vibration resonates with our higher self, and the practice is that we become what we listen to. Our consciousness gets formed by what we allow to come into our ears, and that develops our consciousness. So material sound disturbs and brings anxiety, and when we deliberately bring in transcendental sound, then it reveals consciousness. And in the ancient Vedas, which are thousands of years old, there's a statement, Anavritti Shabdat. So Shabdat means spiritual sound, and Anavritti means to uncover. So just as when Javi was singing this song and we could feel the sun coming out, as no matter how much fog is there, no matter what covering is there on our consciousness, when the sun rays hit the fog, it begins to dissipate and we see the light and everything's okay. And so in a similar way, anavriti shabda, when you get spiritual sound into your mental system and you hear it, then it lifts the fog of doubt, of fear, of anxiety. And it's very, very natural. Well, having said that, let's see if we can get Javi to sing another song. Perhaps this time, would you like to introduce, well, whatever you'd like to sing.
What if we chant mantras together? Is that okay?
Yeah, I think so. We can put them up on the screen for a second, or why don't you just sing mantras, whichever ones you like, and if you want to say anything about them, you can, and then also, yeah, just go for it.
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
That was beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
love that piece. I love that piece. It's so nice. Um, so when you sing these mantras, what is your, how are you feeling about it? I mean, what are you putting into it? And what is your, because you sing all kinds of music. You've sung pop music that's very popular. And then I know you have huge audiences, especially in Latin America. And recently you've introduced the mantra chanting to them also. And they've had, you know, had really amazing responses. So,
Very exciting. Yeah.
so can you just tell us a little bit about that? The crossover in the pop to mantra and
It's curious because I'm coming from a Jewish background. I was born in Israel. And then I fell in love with the concept of mantras. And I started to chant actually in 1972. 1973, I had the chance to meet Srila Prabhupada, who was the person who brought um, the concept of mantras in a wide way and backed by a huge literature. I just fell in love with it. And I decided that I can use the piano and Western instruments in order to enhance a bit the sound of the mantra. And in this way, I can communicate in another level, which is not just, okay, you know, I did a song, you pay me, and then I'll sing, and then I'll come up with a new song, and you pay me, and I'll sing, and then I'll go to a show, and I will show off. It has nothing to do with that. It's on another level, as you say. And I've never been so satisfied as I am now for so many years, just chanting and sharing with people this mantra. So yeah, I hope I answered your question.
yeah, you did. Thank you very much. Let's see if anybody else here, if you have any thoughts or you want to ask Javi any questions, you can come off mute and just ask him. Mute button at the bottom of your screen. That's a little microphone. Or if you want to write anything in the chat box. Rashmi wrote in, said, absolutely mesmerizing, beautiful music, voice and mantra. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thanks, Javi.
Thank you. Thank you, Rashmi.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Beautiful name you have,
Thank
Rashmi.
you.
Erica Walker said lovely. Claire said beautiful. And Sriti Rajiv said very divine. Thank you. Thank you. So this is a kind of music that anybody can do, right, Javi? You don't have to have a. Were you going to say something, Claire?
Yeah, I was going to ask him, I'm curious, do you make it up on the spot?
Sometimes, sometimes I do, and I have to go immediately and get a pen and a piece of paper and write down do, F, F, and then G, and then A, and so on, and remember the melody and so on. And I go do, re, fa, le, all the C, mi, and so on, to remember. But basically, this particular melody happened in Fort Lauderdale. Then I was driving to my daughter's house in Fort Lauderdale, and I go, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And I went, this is so nice. I had to park immediately. I just came out. So I started to write. So yes, sometimes it just happens. I guess it's a particular gigabyte that comes with this particular birth where I can actually access a realm where music is dictated to me, and therefore I feel very fortunate. I can be a recipient of that. I don't know what's going to happen in my next life, but at least in this one, it has been this way.
Nice.
I love that. It feels like in that way it comes in a very pure manner. So beautiful. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And it also requires more than anything. It's a pure ear. You can perceive something because you have something. So thank you so much.
Anyone else? Well, I can just say that those who practice yoga, this yoga of sound vibration, have a kind of a regular way in which they perform the kirtan. You know, I've lived in ashrams in India, for instance, and the music starts early in the morning with a ceremony of singing. It's bright and early, actually. The the place Javi and I stayed for a month together in India recently. It was in October, and
Right.
October, November. We were there, and the first mantra meditation program in the ashram starts at 4:15 in the morning. So we were up early, and when you greet the sun with this kind of absorption in the higher sound vibration and the singing of the mantra, and also sitting and doing japa, as we've shown on the various other classes we've had here, where you do the mantra. There's a way of greeting the dawn in such a way that you feel altogether optimistic, and you start to see that you're in a universe that's benevolent, and that the greatest event of the day is occurring, the sun is coming up, and so forth. What was it like for you, Javi? Maybe you can say something about our time together in the ashram in Govardhan, India.
Yeah, it's beyond ordinary, indeed. To be in a place that is surcharged with so much pure energy. Everybody at this place called Govardhan, people go around the hill by the hundreds of thousands, and they, family dynasties, practically speaking, they're all walking around the Govardhan hill, and they go, "Hooray, it's not out here, it's just a party." It's simply amazing. So we are in a particular place right in front of the hill, right in front of Govardhan, a little ashram with what, 6, 7 cows who are extremely friendly, and they're just a part of the family there. And then a selected group of very intense practitioners sit down together and hear carefully old text. It's just beyond time. You forget that you're coming from, New York, London. You forget about modern life and problems or anything. It's really, you're disconnected in a way from the time, from modern times as you know it, and suddenly you go back to in history to such a beautiful environment. If any of you can come and visit the place, you will have the same impression, I'm sure.
Javi, somebody wrote here, truly enjoyed it, lovely music and nice voice. Thank you so much for, I heard that one. Gorgeous. Where can we find your spiritual music online? You recently did a whole album of spiritual music, right?
Yes, I did in a symphonic environment. It has several years now. It's called Symphony of the Soul. You can find it. I don't know who took the music. Somebody took the music and put it on YouTube. I don't care. Let them be happy. It's called Symphony of the Soul, and you will find that those songs that are 11 songs accompanied by a symphonic orchestra and 100 voices in the language of Sanskrit and Bengali, poetry, devotional poetry from ancient times, hundreds and even thousands of years ago. Just think about it, thousands of years ago. We thought thousands of years ago was, dinosaurs. That's our references. How you say the carbon 14, right? The age of,
The dating system, yeah.
and suddenly we're invited to go to a time where beautiful poetry was composed and surcharged with intense love in a heart in the language of Sanskrit, which is the source of Latin, Spanish, English, and so on. So quite an experience.
So Symphony of the Soul. Yeah, and these each word is like a fossil. It takes us back to some ancient time. That's one of the ways I liked what you were saying about being connected to ancient history. The sound, the words, the syntax, all these things, and especially when we get in the realm of poetry, music, and then mantra, there's a direct connection that we get with antiquity, and not just antiquity, but also the aesthetic that was fully available at a certain time and place. We can imbibe through poetry, through music, and the mantra, as I said before, is otherworldly. It's coming from a different realm altogether. Maybe JM or Pavani, if you're there, we can put up a few slides about the mantra.
Yes, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can not only hear you, we can see you, which is a big deal.
Yes, I just wanted to share that Laurie, Tatiana, and Gary, they all have already found Symphony of Soul on Spotify and on the web. So they have confirmed they are already downloading it.
Okay, great. It's nice to listen to during the lockdown. It's very uplifting. Yeah.
Yeah, I can share the mantra as well in the slides.
So we talked before about mantra. Man means mind, and tra means to deliver. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about how the mind can be one's best friend or one's worst enemy. So we only get one mind when we come into this world. And therefore, yoga training really is about controlling the mind, learning to discipline the mind. That sounds a little severe, but the fact is that, interestingly, counterintuitively, when we do take the time to discipline our mind and point it in directions that are better for us, developing good habits, then actually we begin to, as the Bhagavad Gita says, experience what's called prasad or grace. We become receptacles for the higher energies that are floating about us at all times, but we're not able to take in because we're at a lower resonance. So the practice of bhakti yoga means to tune the mind to these higher vibrations, and the mantra helps to tune us in that way. So what do you have there in the way of slides there, JM?
So I have the Avatar mantra and the Maha mantra.
Okay, well, let's just look at them really quick.
Okay.
And is there kind of an explanation of these also, like the chakras and so forth?
No, at this point, just...
That's a different set of slides. Okay, so this one is called the Maha Mantra. Hare, Krishna, and Rama are the three words in this mantra. It comes into the Vedic literatures in the Kali Santarana Upanishad, where it mentions this mantra in its entirety. And the words are names of avatars that descend from the higher level to the lower level into the realm from the fourth dimension into the dimension we're used to. And they create a channel so that we can access that higher realm. This is the theory behind mantra, to be experienced by the chanter, him or herself. And so Hare, it's pronounced Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then many of the, what's the other one? Do we have another slide? Nitai Gauranga. And then this mantra, which we're all familiar with, those of us who have been on this call a few times, Nitai Gauranga. So these are the avatars of compassion. They come down to remove any obstacles we have on the spiritual path. And we chant this one first before we go into the Maha Mantra. These two mantras are very powerful, so you can incorporate them into your practice. And if you like to sing them, we've done it through japa meditation, meditational chanting previously. But if you want to sing these mantras, then they lend themselves well to music, don't they, Javi?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Well, why don't you lead us a little bit then? We can join in if you want to. Behind muted mics, we'll join in. But if you want to lead us in anything with Nitai Gauranga or also the Maha Mantra, and we'll just see what it feels like to music. Even if you're not a pianist, you can do this.
Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. 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 Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga.
Thank you very much for giving us that extemporaneous session.
You're welcome.
Would you do, let's see if there's any more comments. Gary said, Symphony of the Soul is available on Spotify. Tatiana says, thanks, it was beautiful, soul-moving sounds. And yeah, good. If anybody has any questions for Javi, you can, you can come on at any time. Feel free to come off mute. And maybe you can lead us in a session of the musical mantra for the Maha Mantra now.
Very well.
Javi Prabhu,
Yes.
maybe you can, the way you were doing it is when you're singing the mantra, then we can repeat it, right? After you say it?
Yes, please.
Okay, okay.
So if I go, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare.
Should I go on? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's your turn.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Bravo!
Bravo!
Bravissimo! Harish says, thank you for sharing wisdom and great music. The expressions and glow of your face is really beautiful experience. Claire said, beautiful. Brenda says, bravo, bravissimo. And before we have Javi's last presentation, let's just see if you have any live questions. And is there anything coming in from Facebook that we want to mention, JM?
Yeah, so there is many comments. Actually, everyone is loving the soothing music. One of them is, it was very touching. I could feel the purity of your heart. Sorry. Yeah. And there are many more like that.
Goes on and on.
Thank you so much.
Anybody who's on Zoom has a chance to ask Javi a question before he does his last presentation. Can come off mute.
Hi, Javi. This is Rashmi again. Not a question
Yes.
per se, but I just wrote it in the comments as well. I hope this is normal, but I was moved to tears by your music.
Oh my dear. Thank you so much. I didn't mean to do that.
In a good way.
Well, actually, I have a phrase that I'm using these days is to make happy is to be happy.
Nice. Javi, Erica wants to know, do you select a particular key to play in?
Well, every year I select a lower key now. I used to compose songs when I was, much younger, in my 20s. And now I cannot sing them in the same key. But I'm singing more in G or D. Those are my favorite. This is G. It becomes just natural for me. And then I like very much D, either in major or minor. Yeah, that is, it has a particular soothing effect.
Now you've soothed us a lot today, and practically we're melted here. Do you want to just for the next few minutes? Can you give us something a little rousing to wake us into get us back into our workday? I know JM has corporate mergers to take care of, and others.
Let me see what I get here, what I do here. Okay, go multi. Okay, so is the sound okay? Can you hear it well? Because
Yeah, it's good.
it's good. Okay,
It's
I
very
wonder
good.
how it's going to be heard when I go. Something is stuck here. I have to reset this 1 second. Please give me a minute.
Sure, take your time. This is a piano that Javi purchased in Japan when we were there together last April, right?
That's correct. I just fell in love
Not
with
this
it.
April, but the April before last. And I don't know how you got it home, but
Well, it was, it's curious. I paid less money buying, shipping, and everything, almost $1,000 less than buying in America. And I had no problem. it worked fine. Let me see. Okay, I'm here. Um, okay, what should I do? I'm such a fool that I'm thinking I'm cool and I'm thinking I'm higher than high. I'm very small, but I'm thinking I'm tall and I'm thinking that I'll never die. And what if the sun never shines in the sky? And what if the rivers run dry? What if nobody gives thanks anymore? Then what kind of winner am I? I'm very proud of my home and my wife and my children and household affairs. I'm very sure that I'll win every war and I'll ease all their troubles and cares. And why? So this song, it's a little, it's a very British flavor, as you can see. So this song is written by Martin Ayer, a very, very dear friend who just left us in August. He was a great poet, and he had a huge heart. He was saying, yes, I'm such a fool that I'm thinking I'm cool and I'm thinking I'm higher than high. And he had something like, Then one fine day as I passed by the sea, there was some strange boat, and the captain called to me, saying, leave all your things and come along with us. And if you have any ties, well, you have to give them up. So come quickly now, we're leaving with a tide. Sounds like a captain of a boat. Ships ahoy! Ships ahoy! Are you ready? He was a character. His songs were beautiful. He didn't know how to play the guitar. So what he did is that he tuned the guitar in his own way, completely. There was no none of that. It was not the classical way of tuning a guitar. He did it his own way, and it sounded fantastic. He composed beautiful songs.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Can you do my favorite song?
Are you serious?
Just at least a few bars and tell us what it means. It's a rousing song, and it's one you wrote when you were in your 20s about working hard for nothing or something like that.
You got that right. Let me find the right sound. It is not an easy thing to be heard well with this instrument over there at your place, so I'm doing the best I can. Okay. Okay, the song goes. I know you like it. Se levanta muy temprano, se lava la cara. He wakes up very early in the morning and he washes his face. Se lava la cara. Se toma el café, he drinks his coffee, y a la calle otra vez, and he goes back to the street. Él ya sabe que la cola de carros le espera. He knows that a big traffic jam is waiting for him, but, he doesn't care so much. Seguro le nombra la madre otra vez. Maybe somebody's going to insult him. But he says, it doesn't matter. Why? Because I'm going to have my paycheck, 15 and 30. El 15 y el 30. El 15 y el 30 le llega el alivio. The 15th of the month, because in South America, you get paid the 15th and the 30th of the month. So the 15th and the 30th, he's going to feel okay. He's going to be happy. And then lucha por la economía. Lucha por la economía means fight for the economy. Just go and make money. Lucha por la economía. So that's the first verse. Ya sentado en la oficina le llegan papeles. Once he's sitting down at the office, papers are coming. And he's looking at the papers and he has to sign and he has to send. And le llegan papeles. Papeles means papers. Se pone a fumar and starts smoking his life away. Se perdieron los millones. El jefe lo llama. He just realized that millions were lost and his boss is calling him and is kicking him out. He's going back to the house. The wife is shouting at him. The kids are screaming. But it's all right. Why? Because the 15th and the 30th of the month, he's going to get his money. Lucha por la economía. So. Se levanta muy temprano, se lava la cara, se toma café y a la calle otra vez. Él ya sabe que la cola de carros lo espera, seguro le nombran la mano otra vez, pero no se da por vencido. El 15 y el 30 le llega la línea, él ya está definido. Si cobran los cheques y pagan los giros, lucha por la economía, por la economía, lucha por la economía, por la economía, por la economía. Ya sentado en la oficina le llegan papeles, comienza a fumarse la vida otra vez. Se perdieron los millones, el jefe lo llama, liquida su haber y a la calle otra vez. No se va por vencido, el 15 y el 30 le llegan la línea. Él ya está definido. Si cobran los cheques y pagan los giros, lucha por la economía, por la economía, lucha por la economía, por la economía, por la economía.
Bravo. Wow, great, great, great. Well, I agree with Wolf. He said, thank you, great uplift for the weekend. Rashmi, again, this was lovely and lively. Thank you. And Claire, all right, I'm with you. I love the song. That's my favorite song, Javi does. I always make him do it wherever we go.
And I always get surprised because, we want to go somewhere, flying in the sky. And why should she go on?
Well, you took us to many different places today, Javi. Thank you so much for joining us for this spiritual fitness program. And thank you, JM, for making it all happen, and for your wife, Pavani, for making sure that it kept going even when you had to step out for a couple of minutes. And if anybody wants Javi to come back at some time to do some more mantra music for us, then you'll have to come off mute and just say thank you very much, or say please come back. Can they unmute themselves?
Please come back.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, please come back. Yeah.
Go.
Come back.
Yes, please, please, please.
Please, loved it. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you so much. I will. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
So thank you very much, everybody, and we'll be back next Friday if everything goes, if the world's still here, and we're all alive and kicking. And I wish everybody well, and thank you very much for joining Spiritual Fitness. And for those of you who are taking the 21-day Spiritual Fitness Challenge, keep up the good work, and thank you very much. JM, any last words you need to put in?
No, I'm good. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining, and thank you very much, Hari Prabhu, for delighting us. People are asking when your next album is coming. So
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Take good care.
Thank you. Bye.